You learned the hard way to start the hardware business.
Yeah.
You told us that you tried 2 businesses and failed before you eventually
yes, I failed. I had to close the Nyahururu one with shame, and I thought Naivasha was better.
Or you just evolved the same mistake?
Oh yeah, I evolved the same mistake. I at one time I had 14,000 chicken, 14,000 birds, and I thought I was making money. Then I failed miserably.
14,000 birds.
14,000 birds. Yeah.
How is that not good money?
How is that not good
That's
money?
14 million if you sell each for 1,000.
No. I was doing eggs, so I would harvest at the best. I would harvest about 10,000 eggs per day. Yeah,
10,000 eggs per day.
10,000 eggs per day times 10 shillings.
Oh,
so you have sales of 100k
per day.
Per day.
Every 10 days you have 1 million.
But it is unless you know the game. Now I know the game better. In one egg, the farmer makes 2 shillings.
What, the hen?
Yeah. What the hen?
Our conversation is happening at Wojo. Wojo is a premium co-working space located in Upper Hill, Nairobi, Makiwa Hotel, formerly Crown Plaza, Manzi. If you or your business is looking for a private office, a place where you can hold business meetings, classy environment, an environment that can boost your creativity, na unaipata na affordable rates, fully furnished, and to world standards, you need to consider checking out the offers at Wojo, and you can get in touch with the team at Wojo using the contact details on your screen.
Hey wadau, alafu kabla tuzame kwa conversation, if you believe this is your ear ya kubuild, then this message is for you. Please allow me to plug you to K&K Precast Engineering to introduce you to a concept where you can build better and spend less. Now, with the technology that K&K Precast Engineering wanatumia, you get the same quality as traditional housing or even better. In fact, kwa structure, you can save up to 30% on costs. Halafu, kwa wale wamekuwa kistruggle na black cotton soil, sijui ngoa foundation, sijui chimba mchanga, toa yote, this suspended foundation ya K&K Precast Engineering solves that for you. Sasa precast ni nini? Unaona bridges zinatengenezwa, wanatengeneza concrete kando, inashikanishwa na chuma ndani, proper reinforcement, wanakuja wanaekelea. Expressway imetengenezwa juzi, hiyo ndio barabara tunapitia. Now K&K Precast Engineering Limited wamepata njia ya kutumia that same technology for residential homes, apartment blocks and all matters construction, and the deal is even better. Also note that K&K Precast Engineering Limited build capacity ya full construction process all the way from the foundation to finishing, unaingia kwa nyumba. For more inquiries, get in touch with the team ya K&K Precast Engineering through the contact details tumekuwekea kwa screen. Consider yourself plugged.
Hey wadau, good vibes tukikutana nazo, we definitely have to present it to you. Now we have, I'm glad actually today's episode is happening, an exciting conversation. Our guest for this episode is the founder and CEO wa Hyssop Properties, anaitwa Naftaly Mwangi. You may have seen him on other platforms, but good vibes zenye tulikutana nazo nisema lazima ziletwe hapa. Naftaly, karibu sana.
Asante. It is Hyssop.
It's Hyssop.
You said Hyssop.
Mimi sema na Bible pronunciation. Nilienda kuangalia like the origin of the name.
Okay.
So kwa wale watu niliona they were saying Hyssop. So ni tomato but Hyssop.
All right.
Hyssop
Properties, yes.
So Hyssop Properties is a brand ya real estate, land selling.
Yes.
But then mimi I'm interested in hapa nyuma kidogo before we get to that story of how the company becomes. So apparently you are a trained engineer.
Yes, I'm a trained engineer from JK Watts. But I did electrical engineering out of ignorance. Yeah, I didn't know what to do. Okay, but at that time my cousin was my first cousin. Was a very good engineer. Okay, so I thought I can make some money in that. Yeah, but later, that's not my thing.
Later, that's not your thing.
That's not my thing.
You went through the whole process training and you aced it. You qualified. I
actually did 3 years. Then I got an opportunity in a bank.
Okay.
But later I went back to clear.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the opportunity you get in banking did not require you to have a degree to do what you are doing in a bank.
No, we did not require a degree that time. That was back in 2008. Okay.
Yes.
And what happened in 2008? There was a new president. Now there was a lot of country. The country was not borrowing from banks. Okay.
The country was not borrowing from
Yes.
banks.
Government was not borrowing from banks. Okay. So
Yes.
banks were hawking loans. That's where we started.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. So banks were desperate, hawking loans. There are those times that bankers were in every corner looking for people to give loans.
Yes.
That's where we started.
Yani, that's a direct link to why ordinary people can't access loans from banks. It's because of competition from government.
Of
Unajua,
course.
I've had that before. I've had that before sana. Ati government borrowing from banks inafanya it makes it complicated from people to borrow from banks.
Well, yes. I mean, look at it this way. Government is a very good business for banks. One, government will never default. They can, but rarely will they default. And number two, they borrow lump sum. Okay? In the last financial year, government borrowed about 700 billion from banks, local banks. So why would the same bank have an appetite to lend
Ordinary
to a
Kenyan looking
riskier
for 100,000, 1 million.
Yes, ordinary Kenyan. Okay. Actually, that is what has given birth to so many fintechs, to so many. There is a new phenomenon in Kenya called DCP, digital credit providers. Okay. So many. So many credit companies are hawking loans, against logbooks, against title deeds. That is because the main banking system is not lending to individual Kenyans. Yeah, that's where we are.
So in your time, you are looking for people to give loans.
Exactly. The policy from Mwai Kibaki was the government will not borrow from banks. Okay?
Yes.
So banks, the ripple effect was banks to lend to Kenyans. And that is what grew the economy then.
Wow, that's an interesting area to go into. But your life seems interesting because you mentioned Eldama Ravine.
Yes.
This place is special for me because one time I take the Nakuru branch in Ingia Kapsabet and some of the best beautiful views
Yes.
I've seen in this country was in Eldama Ravine.
Yes.
Those views have only been rivaled by Makueni County, and that's a story for another day.
Oh, okay.
So now, but then your story in Eldama Ravine, you mentioned you were squatters.
Yes.
How does a squatter get to sit with us today? Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. I was born and bled in Eldama Ravine. So the story is my grandfather came from Ranga. And that place in Eldama Ravine was actually a forest then. The first team cells in this country
Yes.
was established in that part of the country. That is how my grandfather got himself there, because he was working for team cells.
Okay.
That is how my mother was born in Eldama Ravine. I was born in Eldama Ravine. And my father was born in Eldama Ravine.
Yes.
Now, what was being given by the then colonial government is squatters for the timber industry. Okay? So the timber industry is, it's like the tea industry. When you go to those coffee farms, there are workers around the coffee farms, but they don't own those plots. That was a scenario in Eldama Ravine. So you're living, but you don't have a title deeds. Yes.
Can you draw value from that land? Because
Nope. Zero. Because you're supposed to live there and work.
you don't own.
You don't own. You don't own.
I get a different vibe in the squatters who lived on white people farms before they sell the farms to go back to England in pre-independence Kenya, right? They were allowed to farm kidogo, and the issue becomes they were not given enough notice to harvest their crops. For your case in Eldama Ravine, you are not allowed to farm.
You need to know that team cells also belonged to a white man. It was started by a white man by the name Grogon, the same guy who started this Grogon in Nairobi. And so he needed workers. And most of them came from Murang'a.
Yes.
And a huge number actually came from the western side of Kenya.
Okay.
So in that particular village of ours, we are mixed. The guys with the muscle, the Luos and the Luyas, walikuwa wengi sana pale. So it was purely provision of labor.
Okay.
But you see, life happens. People give birth, people marry. Up to today, that area is still a squatter.
So what does the future look like for you growing up in that setting?
Apparently being a highland, I think I usually say I'm born in a family of 5 boys and 3 girls. And I think my growing up was fun. Okay. So we're here, it's a forest, so there's a lot of hunting, there's a lot of food, because the biggest provision of food was the Shamba system. Shamba system started that area. Shamba system is where, as the government plants trees, they allow you to plow until you can't plow anymore because the trees are basically supposed to chase you. You get me?
The trees are supposed to chase
you. When there's enough shade, you just can't plow. Just can't farm. Then you move to the next place. Yes.
So as in, thank you for that. But now I'm like, what are you looking forward to? Because I want to, I would love, and I believe our audience would love to know the gap between kutoka huko interior to be in the city and to run a company or a business for yourself.
Okay. I look, on hindsight, I look at our life down there and I realized we are privileged. It might sound interior, it might sound squatters, but we are privileged. Let me tell you how. Because of the industries, because it was not just team cells, there was comply industries. So that means the whole area had electricity before so many other areas had electricity. Okay. There was a provision of schools. I went to a school called Majimazuri Roman Catholic Primary School.
Yes.
Okay. So the church was following. So we had good education, especially in the formative age. Then high school, I was lucky to go to a better high school out of that area.
Or high school is what plucks you out of?
Yes, okay. Plucks me out of that. Remember, I still had my roots back in Central. So many times during holidays, we would come back we would go to Murang'a, and also we had relatives in Kiambu. Yeah.
Okay. So at what this electrical engineering thing gets inspired by your cousin?
Actually, gets inspired by my cousin, who was an electrical engineer and was working at one of the timber factories called Comply.
And what's your relationship with money then? Because you say you saw how much money he was making, and that's what you wanted.
I thought he was making a lot of money.
You thought?
Yes. Yes. Looking at hindsight. Yeah. You know how you admire a teacher when you're young and you think they're making a lot of money?
Yes.
Yeah. So, this guy would drive. This guy had a beautiful family.
Yes. That was the image of success.
That was the image of success then.
And then you are like, this is what I want.
I think this is what I want.
And then how does the change come to this is not what I want?
So making it to campus, I honestly realized this is not my thing. I am not...
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it.
You liked it for the wrong reasons?
Yes. And it was too late to change things. Okay. So I started looking for jobs. Okay. My going to campus was very interesting because I had started making money in campus. So I was at JKUAT and I was staying on Kiambu Road. Okay. And I would commute daily to Juja. Okay. So Kiambu Road, Muthaiga, then Juja. Okay. I had a barber shop when I was in campus in Kiambu.
You had a barber shop?
I had a barber shop. Okay. So I was making some money. And by making money, I came to learn that this course is not my course. At all.
unatupiga makombora moto hapa. You are studying electrical engineering.
Yes.
But you have a barber shop.
You're making some money.
And
As you make money, you become comfortable. When you make money, you sit in a position where you can see things clearer because you're not surviving. You get my point? If you're not making money, if you don't have an income, you're on survival mode. Anything happens. Okay? But when your life is comfortable, I mean, you're making like 500, 1,000 bob every day. Okay? Actually, I stretched a branch at Karura, and I had the very first barber shop.
500,000?
No, 500 bob.
500 shillings.
Per day.
Yes, yes.
Per barber shop.
Yes.
Okay? So I had two. And this is the time, we're talking about 2007. This is the time kunyoa ilikuwa 50 bob, 20 bob, 30 bob. So making 500 bob is a lot of money.
Yes.
I started our branch at Karura. You see where the Karura forest is?
Yes, yes.
All those forest guards, I used to shave them. And then now I had employees at that time. Now, when you're interacting with money, you come to now look at yourself in the mirror and you realize, I'm doing the wrong thing. I don't think this is the thing I want to chase.
Let me put something to you and then tell me if I'm making sense. We had a guest on this show who has a shoe company, Kiongozi Leather.
Okay.
He was also in JKUAT, and at some point, he says in the episode, anaitwa Felix Omondi, he says in the episode that he started making money in a week that if he would wait to graduate in 4 years, that would be his salary in a month. Is this the kind of realization that hits you?
Not exactly. But I'm in a position where I'm not in a survival mode. When you're not in a survival mode, you see things clearer. Okay?
So you start questioning why you are in school.
You start questioning. Look at electrical engineering. Okay, it's not a people-oriented industry. You know, I'm somewhere in Kengen, interacting with cables and formulas and all that. Later I realized, no, I'm a people person. And this thing is not a people person industry. Okay, I wish I had someone who told me, please, your persona does not fit there. So that's it. So that is what the comfort, the little comfort. I'm not talking about big comfort. That is what, when you're on survival mode, anything goes. When you're in a relaxed mode, you're able to see things differently. And after all, you have the luxury of switching things, because even if you lose 1 year, you're still making money. Yes. Those are the things that made me jump. Nevertheless, when I was called, I see an advert that one of the international banks are looking for people. I apply. Okay, I remember going for an interview with my jeans because I never thought this is my thing again. No, nile took bahatisha, and I got it. I was actually the last guy, out of 10. So I remember my manager, God bless him, Kefa Mbasa, told me, listen, I don't know why I'll take you, but there's something about you. Please come in. And that is how I ended to be there 10 years, again, in the banking sector.
So, you see an advert.
Yes.
They have lined out the qualifications that they're looking for.
There was no degree, okay? There was no degree. Remember, it is a very simple entry. Salesperson. We are getting there to hawk loans. Okay? So they were looking for a simple entry because you are basically a direct salesperson.
A direct salesperson. Yes. So this is where your journey in banking starts.
That's where my journey started.
Okay. So how's the experience in sales?
I was the best salesperson in that bank for 5 years in a row.
I'd like to know your motivation. I'm curious.
Okay.
Maybe your motivation can guide us. When they offer you a job, you've already tasted money.
Yes.
Is the salary good enough for you to drop what you're doing put other things on hold? What is the in thing for you? Or
Of
it's
course,
just
if there's something I got from from that career, is structure. So I'm yearning for structure. There's something in me that is very ignorant that is telling me a banker is happy. Okay, I start now looking down on my barber shop. In fact, I sold them out. Okay, in chase of a salary.
Also, you're chasing this banker title.
I'm chasing a salary. I'm chasing
off as a
looking
banker.
sharp with a tie in such a game. Okay, I get this job, and my parents are very happy. You know, they would go to church and say now their boy is a banker. You know, and then pressure start mounting. Okay, so later again, 7 years down the line, I'm good, promoted big time. I'm now a manager. Then it's no longer comfortable. You know, then the dream was, things happened.
Okay.
And then you feel I need to go back to hustle. The same thing I left. I think that is where money is. Yes.
In banking, let's go. Hapo kuna lessons mob sana. Okay. Number one, what do you learn about the sector? First of all, you grow within the ranks.
Of course, yes. I grew within the ranks.
Right?
Yes.
So the knowledge you get is practical knowledge.
Yes.
And something interesting here, you promoted to what level?
By
the time you leave?
I was a relationship manager in priority banking. So basically, banking the who's who.
Which means by getting in at a low entry level, you got a job that a graduate will not apply for and get.
Exactly.
What's going on there?
It is easier to grow from inside, but there's a challenge of growing from inside. Your salary does not grow at the same pace.
With your growth.
Okay? So you realize someone else coming from competition is earning twice your salary because they were poached. I mean, they negotiated. But here you started at that low. So 7 years down the line, your salary is maybe only like 2 times what you started or 3 times where you started. Yes. So, but you get a lot of experience from that.
So a graduate cannot get that job on applying, but your salary can also not grow because familiarity.
Now, let me paint a picture of exactly what happened, and I want to bring you into. This is 2008. Okay, there are no many graduates in the country. You know what happened in 2008? Somehow, university and tertiary education was devolved. Universities grew left, right, and center during that regime. Almost every corner of this country, universities started. This is the time, I don't know, Methodist. This is the time MKU started. Now, MKU is here. It's dispensing a lot of graduates. Okay, so the banks have a big pool to pick from. Okay, so you are being a graduate is no longer a gem because you are so many. That's what you need. That's how you need to look at. Now, the next regime that came, the Hunye regime, actually, what can I say? Closed a lot of universities. I don't know if you know that. Oh yes, there was a drive for almost every town to have a university branch. That was closed during Uhuru's time, because again it had watered down. Education had been commercialized so much that, including today, you sit with a graduate and you're like, what did you do in school? Okay, it became such a crisis that so many corporates, even the largest corporate in Kenya, I don't want to say names, they started their own academies because they're not able to get the right people. Okay, so much papers, no talent. So much papers, no skill. Yes.
So
the advantage with us is that at that time, there was the pool was not huge. when they were picking. Because the government, I mean, there was a whole new dispensation. We had just come from the Moi era, where they were only public universities. Yeah.
When we met the first time, you mentioned a line that stuck in my head. Bankers live a lie.
Most bankers live a lie. Okay? And most of them, not all of them. Because there's a pressure of looking like a banker. Okay? You're interacting with money every day. And something tells you that you cannot live on some corners of this country. Okay? So you realize, and then you are a prey to so many Shylocks while in the bank. Oh, yes. Okay? If you lend to a banker, they will not default, because it's actually a crime to have a check, to have an unpaid check while you are inside there. Okay, so many bankers lived a lie, or live a lie even today.
Why the bankers have very attractive interest rates borrowing internally? Why go to a Shylock?
Because of lifestyle. Because of lifestyle. Apparently, this phenomena happens with urbans and the peri-urbans. A banker somewhere in Embu will do very well. But a banker based in Kenyatta Avenue, because of cost of life, because of peer pressure, because of all these things. So you get your facility at 3%. Okay? I'll tell you my personal story. So what I did with my 3% is that I bought a house. So I bought a house very early, at around 23. Okay?
23 years old?
Yes. And that is a mortgage. And then I became trapped in that mortgage because I was supposed to pay it in 20 years. Later it became a savior. That's a whole different story. But imagine someone who took that loan for a Subaru. You become trapped forever, pay these things in 7 years. Your salary is growing at such a minimal rate. You have to show up to some corners of this country. You are called for Harambes back in the village. And so you live a lie. You're so broke. 25th of the month, you're so broke. You can only borrow to show up to work.
Ebu, draw us a picture of what your math looks like. That's a very interesting thing to say.
Okay.
Please draw us a picture of what your math looks like at 23 and what kind of mindset a 23-year-old needs to first buy a house. What does the math look like? What's the salary? What's the math of the house? Like, as in, what's going on, Apa?
I mean, look at it. I think by then my salary was 84K. Okay? Thereabouts.
Oh, in this math before 2010?
Oh, yeah.
You're a tycoon, ba.
I was.
That's tycoon.
No,
money in
you're
2000.
looking at it in today's rates.
No, in then rate. Today's rate is not money.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you have taken a mortgage where you're paying 40K every month.
40K?
Yeah.
That's mortgage.
That's a mortgage.
You see why that's tycoon money? Because if this is your own house, first of all, how do you identify the property you're buying? And how do you know it's a good deal?
I was comfortable to live far from town. Okay? So that is how I afforded that property. Okay? So it was not very expensive.
And this is not an apartment we are talking about.
No, we're talking about a standalone.
Standalone house.
A standalone 4 million, Bob. Then.
40K per month.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
But that is 3%. That is what I'm enjoying. That is what is supposed to trap you in there. In a good way or in a bad way. Okay?
But
so this is what I tell
50% of your
bankers,
money.
because I talk to bankers. I have actually been contracted. If you look at on my socials, I have talked to so many bankers. And I call it life of a banker. Not in a negative way. Some made it big time. In fact, 2 of my colleagues are bank CEOs today, and I won't call them names. And they were my bosses. They signed my signatures. Some of them were my colleagues. They're earning great monies. And I usually tell them, and I'm talking about banking because that is what I know. Okay? But this is applicable to anyone. And remember, right now I have got my colleagues, or let me call them my employees for now. This is the same thing I tell them. Your salary should only do 2 things. One, either buy your house, especially if you live in Nairobi, because the cost of housing in Nairobi takes 50% of your income. In either way, if you want to live closer, you want to live in Kilelesho and Kilimani, the rents are high. If you want to live in Juja Farm, then the fare takes the fare compensates what you could have saved. Or you fund your higher education to grow either internally or out of that bank, out of employment. Now, if you don't do that, if you use that salary to pay bills and now you get married and then now buy a new car, you know what? You'll be trapped forever. You'll be trapped forever.
So 50% I feel is still too high for mortgage if people advise that rent should not be more than 10% of your income. So I see how wrong the math was, but still 40,000, still 50%, but looks like that was a solid deal for you back then.
That was a big deal. That was a solid deal. Actually, that is what made me quit, because now I had the confidence of saying, what would happen anyway? Have a house. Okay. And once I have a house in Nairobi, I can hustle. I mean, 100 shillings ya mboga na watoto wangu sitakosa. But not without that. If you have a kid, one child, you are in a bed sitter or a one bedroom. They become 2 kids, then you need a 2 bedroom. They become 3 kids, then you need a 3 bedroom. That rate,
We are still at the life of a banker.
exactly.
Yes.
So start paying 20K, then 30K, then 40K. Your income is not growing at that rate. Okay? Nevertheless, in terms of standards, it is one of the best paying jobs. Bankers are paid better than lecturers. Okay? Bankers are paid better than teachers. Bankers are paid better than doctors, actually. But relating with money is a problem with bankers. Most of them. Most of us, because I was there. Okay? One, you need to buy a good suit. How much is a good suit?
30K.
I mean, 15, 20, 30K. Okay? You need to buy a shoe. You need to look like that banker. And before you know, it becomes a rat race. It becomes a rat race.
So the issue Apa is the lifestyle.
The issue is lifestyle and the allure of affordable loans.
The allure of affordable loans.
Yes.
In retrospect, if you had proper financial literacy, do you think the affordable loans would have changed your lives for the better?
Oh yes, big time. Let me tell you a story, and I have not told this story again. And this is the lady who made me quit. She was from Kisii. She's motherly. We are here. By that time, I was at Kenyatta Avenue. What she used to do, every Saturday, she used to bring in bananas from Kisii to sell to us. Every morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And that time we were like 64 in one branch. It is the biggest branch. Okay? Then in the evening, she used to sell mboga.
She brings you bananas.
Yes.
In the morning.
In the morning, I mean, we have to take tea.
The 64.
Banana. That's 10 bob. Okay? And then in the evening, the other mothers, she sells to them mboga. She sat me down. She told me that is what she uses to run her family. Okay? And by then, her son was in Alliance. And then I was like, oh, okay. Really? So she was not trapped in the allure of the lifestyle. She was not ashamed of selling bananas to us and mbogas to us. And if she's watching this, I salute her. Yeah, I'll call her after this to tell her to watch. Okay? So she sat me down, spoke to me about the life of a banker and how most bankers will retire broke, okay, will resign broke, or will even be tempted to be cons. Okay, why? Because I'm seeing a lot of money. let's say in the morning, you open a vault that has got 50 million, but you have got 50 shillings in your pocket. Okay? Such a demoralization, yeah. Okay? But there's something lying to you that you have that life. Have that life. In fact, I would see people coming to deposit monies on Monday na Kabuti, watu wa River Road. And then I'm tempted kuwaonea huruma. Kumbe they are the wheeler dealers.
They are the runners of the
They are the runners, yes. So this is what I say. If you know that you want to live long there, please fund your education. Okay? If not, fund your housing. Because housing is such a springboard to so many things in urban centers.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. People use a lot of their incomes into housing.
A lot of their incomes into housing.
Yes.
So there's
and no wonder the introduction of affordable housing. It was a realization that many incomes. So you don't have disposable. In fact, you can't take your kid to a good school in Nairobi, okay? With an average salary. I mean, look at schooling today. My friend, one kid at 2 years old, they're going to, I don't know, PP1, and you're supposed to pay a K per day. Kwenda tu kucheza pale. Okay? So tell me if you have two.
Oh.
Okay? And they can't be home forever with their house help.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I'm not dissing where I started.
These are very important conversations.
Yes, I'm not dissing. I have a lot of respect to people in that area. But the confidence to talk about these things. In fact, I wrote an essay called Life of a Banker. And when I shared these, I have trained Equity Bank staff, I've trained DTB Bank staff, basically. Because you don't want to come to that work gloomy. I mean, you're not happy. You don't love your job. You want to fit in. And then the bank can't pay you a lot of money. I mean, they don't have all that money. Okay? Maybe it has changed because it's been 10 years now.
You know, this information you're sharing is not unique to banking. I can actually see it play out in multiple workspaces. Okay. I've worked in a place where there was a practical example of someone earning $500,000 per month, but they are broke by the 5th. Kabisa, hakuna, like they don't have.
Yeah.
And later, when I immerse myself into understanding how money works, I interact with the concept of lifestyle inflation. And the lady you gave an example of is a perfect example of locking a lifestyle and not buying into the upgrading.
Yes.
Not buying into the lie of the life.
Yes.
The illusion of the life.
Yes. The keeping up with the Jonas.
Yes.
This is it.
Yes.
Before this is what I say. Before you're 30, if you're lucky to start working earlier, like I was lucky at 21, I was working. Now, let's talk about the inflation currently affecting the Gen Z generation, okay? So many guys are starting to work at 27, okay? Umetafuta job, mekosekana and all that. So we can push that to about 35. So your income is either funding your luxury today, your pleasure today, or your freedom tomorrow. Okay? So I have very good examples of people. When I took that facility, I had other people who now bought cars with the first loan. And I can assure you, up to today, they are still in the bank with the same car. Yeah. Because now, for a car, you want to be given 20 years like me. So there's no much flexibility. In fact, it is the same 40K because it's about 7 years. You get me? And you can't change it. And you can't sell it. And here you have a loan and your salary is growing at 7K or 10K per month.
Per year.
Per year, rather, you know. and then it becomes difficult, and then you are trapped. Unless you make a radical decision, let me quit, kufa makanga, kufa dereva. Two things. Either you grow up, and the only way to grow up is to invest between your ears, is higher education, is courses and all that. Or if you want to get into entrepreneurship, the biggest stumbling block of entrepreneurship is a house. I can tell you, many people quit to start businesses, but the pressure of rent and rent-related expenses pushes you back to look for a job. Ukifungua mara mbili nyumba na urushiwe nje, and the dignity, you say, no. Let me go back. But there's this guy who will start from scratch, as long as they are able. In fact, this is what I tell young guys. Owning the first house, as basic as it is, it gives you, remember the freedom? It gives you the freedom to be creative, and you can risk more. You know, because at least pesa ya food haiwezi kosa sana.
I'd like to get into your ideas on the buy rent debate, because I also have my own views that I would like to present to you, so that my foolishness may end, if it so be. But before that, at 23, why did you choose to buy a house when other people were buying cars?
Fear of unknown.
At 23?
Yes. Very good question. I think I have never been fond of paying rent. Yes. Okay. I have even when I was paying rent initially, when I had a kinyozi, I was paying rent and all those things. That owning a house, and maybe this is what gave birth to the real estate company. Owning was intrinsic in me. Yeah.
Oh, this is something, a push that comes from?
Yes. A push that comes from my background. I never grew where we owned anything. Okay, that's one. Number two, I knew that I don't want to grow in the corporate world. Okay, so I needed a basic minimum to survive, and that can only be a house. Because if my company, I after leaving, I started 2 companies and they all went down. Okay, but nothing changed. You know, I remember staying in my house for 2 months, thinking, what next?
So there are people who are there. You started 2 companies and they failed.
Yes.
Okay. There are people who there's a you right now who has started the first company and it has failed.
Yes.
How do you come back from this? Because I saw a very interesting quote that aligns to this, what you've just said. A man is not a failure does not define a man. In fact, I think I may mix things up, but it says that success, a man is not judged by failure, but respected when failure does not stop him. Something like that.
Okay.
So there's someone who has
Sounds
started
like a tongue twister.
failure. I think
failure. Dr. King.
Yes.
Failure is bigger. Failure is better than campus.
Failure is better
than university education.
Yes.
If you fail in the right time.
You can read this.
A man is great not because he hasn't failed. A man is great because failure hasn't stopped him. Okay? That is by Confucius.
Yes.
Now, I come out, I start a hardware business.
Yes.
Okay? I don't have the capital. So what I was doing is, my car, the car I was driving was a Spatial. KCB 234D.
Yes, that's a bus in Eldoret.
A blue car. Okay?
Yes.
That's a bus in Eldoret today. So what I used to do is I would fill everything in that car. I remember I've left banking. Now here I'm in jeans and t-shirts. I knew some Indians through my relationship with the banks. And thank God for relationships. And so what they used to do, they used to give me these goods. You go sell, bring us the money. Okay? So I would fill it such that it's only me here. Okay? Empty all the seats, it's only one seat.
Space for one.
Yes.
Nafasi ya dereva.
And I would carry stock worth $1 million shillings on that car. Little things. I would do tools. For example, padlocks, steel nails. And I would do Limuru, Maimahiu, Narok, Kisii, come back through Nakuru a whole week in that route.
So it's still nails pia.
Yeah, still is
Na nafasi ni ile.
Ni mob, you know,
Na
special.
Hata unaweza break vibaya msumali kudunge huko nyuma.
Boss, when you hustle you don't. There is no, safety is secondary.
Aya, twende.
Yes.
You leave. You're going to?
So I live. I start in Limuru. I don't think there's one hardware in Limuru that doesn't know me. Then I go to Maimahiu. All the hardwares in Maimahiu, they know me. Then I go to Narok. I was selling to other hardwares. Okay. Then I do Kisii. Then come back through Nakuru. Okay. Then come back to Nairobi. By the time I'm coming back on Saturday, because I would start that journey on Sunday, a whole week. Okay. And many times I would spend in the car. Just park at a police station. Unatulia. Because I mean, boss, I can't afford a lodging in all that trip. 5 days lodging. I had not done my maths very well. My margins they were not sustainable.
They weren't making sense.
Yeah. So what do? The Nyahururu part of then the next week I will do these other routes. Olkalao, Nyahururu, up to Mararao. Okay, another whole week. So I realized the Nyahururu area was central. So I get some money from a Shylock actually. That was about 300,000. Okay, a friend of mine, they gave me money again, is the same car, and I start a shop in Nyahururu. Okay, so at least now I have a central area.
You live with stock worth $1 million.
$1 million, Bob. By the time I'm back, I have sold it all.
Yes.
You do your maths, you have made like 70K in a week. In a week. Way better, but I'm telling you the lessons, you can't compare.
70K
up to today
is way more.
Up to today, Dr. King, I have one of the biggest hardwares in downtown. Yeah. It's called HL Interiors, Hyssop Limited Interiors.
No.
That is what gave birth to the real estate.
Sawa. So now, unasema vitu nzito na unatupeleka mbio. Twende pole pole.
Ninaotisha.
Twende pole pole.
So,
no, iko sawa.
Okay.
I don't want us to lose anything. Okay. So you already have you already have a line of credit.
Yes.
That is solid. They will trust you with goods worth $1 million, Bob.
Yes.
And in that week, you'll make 70K.
I'll make 70K.
Right?
And this is cash.
Why do you need to go borrow rather than just scale this context up? You see if you can get...
Emotionally, remember I've left my family in Nairobi. By then I'm married. You know, I married at 25, by the way. Okay. And I quit banking at around 29. So I have a family. Now, a whole week outside there, then come back on a Saturday, okay? Then Sunday, Monday, it's calls. Hey, what do you want? Hey, mimi nilete hii, you know? All that. I have the whole list. So Monday, Tuesday is sourcing. You know, my friends don't have everything. You get me? Okay.
Yes.
So sourcing, okay. I had a Chinese friend, get these. I had an Indian friend, get these. And then I started sourcing from other people. Now, the people I'm outsourcing from, apart from the people who I have a relationship with,
have to pay.
I have to pay.
But also something else comes up. You're not cold selling.
I was not cold selling. I had a route to market.
You carry things and you're taking them to people who are expecting them.
Exactly.
You're not walking ati unataka msumari.
No.
Unataka nyundo.
It started that way. Of course, it started that way. Go to that route, look at their prices, compare, good. So, like Nyundo was an example. let me tell you, a panga. Just panga, normal panga. I would sell a panga at that time at 500 shillings in Mararal. A panga was buying at 90 shillings here. Yeah, but that route to Mararal, do you know how far it is, Mararal? From Nyahururu to Mararal, that time was like a 7 hours drive because there was no tarmac. And that is and that is the difference of price. Okay, and actually that is what made me start a hardware in Nyahururu, which was a bad idea.
That's where I was getting to. Nasikia big hardware downtown, HL, but sasa I don't see the failure.
Let me tell you one thing. And I have a very good friend of mine. He's my friend later. We have gone to school later together at Strathmore. When I started my hardware in Nyahururu, you see, my idea is I am selling to other hardwares.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't want to hike my prices, otherwise I'll stay with my stock.
Yes.
He tells me something. He's still in that area. He's a big boy in that area. Today he tells me, which is true, I would bring a whole stock and he buys the whole of it the following morning. Because I have cut him from fuel. I mean, I have saved him fuel and the stress of coming to Nairobi to source. Okay? And so we agreed. And the whole of hardwares, especially in that area, because one, they knew my price. Remember initially before opening, I was supplying to them. So I am a very toxic competition. If customers get to know I am that low, I'm that affordable. So the first thing they did, they called each other. Okay? And what do? They use security apparatus to harass you. So me would get with my mzigo in Nyahururu and the first thing, niko ndani. You know gari sijui nini, so I'm locked inside until there came a new base commander who told me what was happening, and we became friends. Okay, and they would pay something to make sure I'm harassed. So kishikwa siku mbili tatu, you start fearing this new town that you don't understand. Then came this gentleman. He understands the game. He has the money. This is his comfort zone. Remember, this is not my comfort zone. I have my house back in Kiambu. Okay, so every weekend I have to come back in Kiambu. So there I was on makeshift, but I have my stock. Then I have 3 employees. Okay. Then Chase Bank then bought me a little canter. Now I'm bigger than the Spatial. So I have the Spatial and the canter. That is how my hardware business started.
So where is the mistake here? Opening the harassment and not knowing the system?
It's just not sustainable to run a business out of your comfort zone, out of where you live. It's just not comfortable. Unless you have enough structures, especially cash business. I mean, how do you run a hardware in Nyahururu and your family and your life revolves around Nairobi? I had 2 options, either move or continue with my car, being stuck in the car. Remember, again, starting these, you have to pay licenses. You have to pay, now rent has come in. You have to pay salaries. And your margins are not as good as a guy retailing. And they have ganged up that you shouldn't retail in that area.
What does that tell us about the business environment of Kenya?
The business is never fair. Business is never fair, even today.
Kenyans are not welcoming.
It's not Kenyans. It's business around the world. Business. Have you ever had a story? Dangote knows there is a new cement company and he buys it and burns it.
I've heard of how they ran Peter Kogoro out of business.
Exactly.
The big soda companies.
Yes.
They used to buy all these sodas before it gets to the market.
Yes. It's a strategy that business people learned from military. It's called scorched earth strategy.
Does this mean the illusion of an open market that is enough for everyone is a lie?
That's an illusion, my friend. It's an illusion. Let me give you another scenario that happened in this country that people didn't know. So in some years back, I can't remember exactly when, EBL, the beer maker, realizes there's a new tendency of people who don't want to drink alcohol, but they want to hang out in clubs. And so they introduce a drink called Alvaro. Remember? Alfaro? Can you remember Alfaro?
I remember Alvaro.
Okay.
And
So-
Novida.
No, wait. Alfaro becomes a big thing. And it is actually performing very well. Then Coca-Cola learns about it. And they tell them, no, you keep on your alcoholic lane. The non-alcoholic is our lane. They start Novida, advertises it heavily. Okay? Alfaro dies and Novida dies. So the idea was not to have Novida as a
It's
drink.
just to kill this other one.
Exactly. That is business. Business is a hunting. You are either the predator or the prey. There's nothing like fair game in business. So what they were doing, and it's not personal, by the way, it's a game of interest. Yeah. I mean, didn't you see the other day our biggest telco saying, no, Starlink, don't come here. No, don't come here, you know? And so that's business for you. If you go to business expecting fair, no. Business is not fair.
So this is a very interesting thing to come up now, because it means this, when you say you failed twice, right? What is the fire that keeps you going to the next one?
So
Because the hardware, we've not, as in the hardware, you adjusted. Lesson here, you said you learned lessons.
yes.
You didn't
So
tell us.
I was actually forced by circumstances to get into the retail business, because at least in the same town, okay, because at least there was a little bit of money. Otherwise, if you make 70,000 per week and fuel, and you have a house there, and I mean,
This is not net.
the
This
math-
70K is not net.
no, it's not net. It's not net.
Wewe sasa unaona.
No,
Unajua I
it's
was
not net.
hey,
It's not net.
70K
It's not
That's
net.
almost 300,000 a
No,
month.
no,
That's
it's
more
not
than-
net. It's not net. It's not net.
Ah,
Then.
yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And I remember one night, my wife comes to visit. We stay there for a weekend, and we are like, does it have to be this hard? Isn't there money in Nairobi? Must we go this far to look for these clients?
That's a good question, by the way.
Yeah,
Isn't there money in Nairobi?
There is a lot of money in Nairobi. In fact, there's no other town in East and Central Africa that has money than Nairobi.
I quote you somewhere again.
Nevertheless, it takes a lot of velocity to make good money in Nairobi. You need crazy capital. Okay? That game has been changed by devolution. Someone running a hardware in Homa Bay will make better money than someone running a hardware in Nairobi, because of the cost of business and the cost of life, the cost of living. Okay, I have a branch in Nakuru today. Someone I pay 50,000 in Nakuru is living a better life than someone I would pay 50,000 in.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah. So Nairobi makes money for the guys with money. So if you don't have that velocity, if you don't have that muscle, outside there favors many people.
So your wife comes,
It also
tells
comes with structures.
your wife asks you if they. That's a very interesting question.
So these movements, Dr. King, these movements are straining my marriage every day. It's a young marriage, okay? They rarely see me. So she comes, visits. And then we have these serious conversations. What are we really doing? We net, we are making crazy money for the Chinese guy. Net, we are surviving. Okay?
For you.
But remember, the comfort of a house, because if our gain was paying rent in Nairobi, it could have been worse. I didn't tell you, by the way. I forgot this. By the time I was leaving, I had not finished the mortgage. Still had a balance. Okay? And I remember after I'm done with the truck paying, because again it's another loan from Chase Bank. So much of this, the 70,000 you're talking about, now my mortgage has gone from 40K to around 78K.
Interest.
Yeah, because I was enjoying 3%. After you leave, hikes to 15%. I have auctioneers' letters twice for them to come sell that house. And that is what gave birth to the real estate. Twice.
By just getting out of the system of affordable interest rate,
Exactly.
your payment doubled.
Yes. Yes.
Can I say something bad?
Please do. I could have stayed.
If the
Okay.
If the government was really serious about affordable housing, they just need to stop borrowing from banks locally.
Exactly. In fact, the first plan, the initial plan was make it. I mean, the government cannot be a developer. Provide infrastructure. Okay, stop borrowing from banks so that you can force banks to lend to Kenyans. Then provide water, roads, and everything. Real estate will follow. Okay, those who can't afford, like initially, there was a plan to use 40% of your pension to buy a house. 40% of your pension, because so many pensioners again. People retire, then they go back to their village because in Nairobi you only survived. Okay, the challenge is you have started. You don't have a child. You are married now. Enters school fees. You're cooked. So you're afraid of living now because it's not just rent. It's now school fees. It's style. You know, it's you're not just alone. You get my point? Yes. So affordable housing idea was born out of that. That Nairobians and peri-urban areas don't have disposable income anymore. Okay, and that means if Dr. King here doesn't have a disposable income, then he doesn't buy the next hotel. Okay, then he can't afford a shoe from the next vendor. Right? And all that affects our macroeconomics rather.
Hey, Maze, yani uko na solid golden nuggets in every step, and our people will not forgive me if I miss any of them.
Okay.
So you have to adjust. Okay, you learn the hard way to start the hardware business.
Yeah.
You told us that you tried 2 businesses and failed before you.
Yes, I failed. I had to close the Nyahururu one with shame, and I thought Naivasha was better.
Or you just evolved the same mistake?
Oh yeah, I evolved the same mistake. At one time I had 14,000 chicken, 14,000 birds, and I thought I was making money. Then I failed miserably.
14,000 birds.
14,000 birds. Yeah.
How is that not good money?
How is that not good?
That's
money?
14 million if you sell each for 1,000.
No. I was doing eggs, so I would harvest at the best. I would harvest about 10,000 eggs per day. Yeah,
10,000 eggs per day.
10,000 eggs
going
per day
by
times 10 shillings.
Oh,
So you have
that's
sales of 100K
per day.
per day.
Every 10 days you have 1 million.
But it is unless you know the game. Now I know the game better. In one egg, the farmer makes 2 shillings.
What the hen?
Yeah. What the hen?
Hey, man.
Because if it is the owners of feeds that make money. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Anyone doing eggs will tell you that you only make 2 bob, and 2 bob is a lot of money.
Caleb
If you have
Karuga anafaa
100,000,
rudi hapa.
if you have 100,000, I know people who produce 100,000 eggs per day. Okay, but you must know your numbers, right? So when you get to certain numbers, please produce your feeds. Invest in that production because that's where money is.
Tell us the lessons you've learned so that someone, kabla turudishe Caleb Karuga hapa, what what mistakes did you make and what have you learned. Hiyo tu, that itself.
Story ya kuku.
Tuipatie 2 minutes.
And you know chicken farmers become presidents. So I'm looking forward to become one.
No. All the best.
let me I was not keen enough. I'll tell you, you're making 2 shillings. So
did you know that then?
When I didn't know, it's unless it's when I got a very good system that tracks everything.
You are looking at gross numbers.
Yes, I was looking at gross numbers. You know, kumbe the guy who brought feeds, you know, you're working for him. You know, the land is on lease, all those things. Even if the land is not on lease, the best you can make is 3 shillings. Okay? And most people will tell you that. Now, this is a mistake. When collecting the eggs, even if you have a solid market, 5 breaks. So if 1 breaks, it has broken 5. You get me? So it's 2 shillings. Are we mathing? So 1 egg is at a cost of 10 bob. Okay? But this 10 bob, yours is 2 bob. So if it breaks, imekula profit ya zingine 10. You get me? So it is such a detailed game. And it's unless
if you break
there,
1 egg, for you
have broken 5.
You lose 5.
Exactly. If the feeds go up just a little, if you get the wrong formulas, you know what happens? Your lay percentage goes down. If you had a lay percentage of 80%, it goes down to 75%. Okay? And you lose everything. Now, the antidote is going big. The guys who make money, it's a game of scale. But I am not a farmer. But that failed. I thought I was making money.
Most people are chasing the number. I'm chasing 10,000 chicken. I'm chasing 1,000 birds. That's you're looking at that and you're like, hey, Jogoni, how much? 1,000 bob. That's 1 million.
I actually was very happy to quit, to exit that business because I made money during exit. Let me tell you how. Because I had bought a day old at 100 shillings. Okay, now it's big. It's a layer. At least you'll sell them at 400 bob. Okay. So one guy comes and say, okay, actually I'm coming with lorries. They are all living here without their heads. At least you have a big check for the first time. That no guy that does not need feeds tomorrow. Now you use that money to do something else. That is the money I used to jump back to the hardware business in Nairobi. We'll
reserve that conversation for our friend Caleb Karuga.
I know Caleb Karuga.
We did a very wonderful episode on agriculture with him. Yeah. He's pure good vibes. So now, I'm curious.
The system doesn't favor the farmer.
The system doesn't favor the farmer.
Yeah.
You go big or go home.
You go big or go home. The system favors the broker. The system favors the guy in here because it's unless you understand the whole value chain from production. You see, I'm selling at 10. That person taking at 10 is taking it somewhere at 12. But you see, I don't have that time. You get my point. So it is a farmer that takes care of the whole value chain. Come to Wakulima market with a lorry full of melons. You won't even get inside.
Don't mention melons. I'm traumatized. Man.
Okay, sorry.
People know. Tell us.
Apologies.
Hey, apology not accepted. I'm still mourning.
Okay.
But anyway, our audience have had enough of that, of my melon story.
Okay.
So now, tell us. I believe this is a story that can open up. You have a very rich story, but it can lay it out visually. What's the story of your first million?
Oh, you want me to talk about that?
Please.
Good. So we come back from Nyahururu. And actually our Naivasha branch didn't even stay for 6 months. We come back wounded. Okay. and stayed home for 2 months thinking, what do we do now? What do we do now? Luckily, we maintained the relationships. But we look at it differently. What do we do?
Yes.
What do we do? So this is what gave birth to, thank God for relationships. I made a few calls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the idea of selling land came. Okay? And I think that was the genesis of the first 1 million. I don't want to go into digits. I have not made it. No, I'm still in the woods. But looking back, we have made quite some milestone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, in land.
In
a totally different
at Hyssop
area.
properties, a whole different thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, now you get into entrepreneurship and you realize entrepreneurship is not a get rich quick. Okay.
Everybody says that.
No. Business is a tool that God uses to nourish humanity. So the people that God gives the burden of entrepreneurship are the people that nourish humanity. This guy who owns one hotel somewhere, or I'll give you my example. The amount of money I pay every month, I mean, my income is a fraction of that. So why would I have, why should I entertain sleepless nights? You know, regulatory, what can I say? There are so many risks in business. Businessmen, especially in Kenya, it's by grace. It's by grace. Because the system does not support businessmen. Okay. Yet we, especially the middle income companies and the small companies, take care of 60% of our economy.
I agree with that.
Okay, but nobody cares about them. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So that burden, I'll give you an example. Look at the people who started one of the biggest banks in Kenya. They've got 9,000 employees. I mean, let me talk about them because they are a PLC. They are a public limited company, so they belong to the public. Equity Bank has got 9,000 employees. Okay, the last time I checked. Do you know how many sleepless nights Mwangi go through? Okay, I told you, for me to maintain such a business and it's not as big as Equity, I have to wake up at 4:30. So you have to be mentally mobilized because so many odds are against you. Okay, so the question is, for what? Then you realize it is ministry. It's a burden. It's you are solving a need. Otherwise, you could have stayed with your salo and you wouldn't have these sleepless nights. Yeah. Yep. And I'm saying that respectfully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. So I'd like you to respond.
So this is my policy. Business is hard. Employment is hard. Choose your hard. Yeah.
Choose your hard.
Choose your hard.
So I'd like you to respond to something that was said on this show.
Okay.
From where I sit and having mapped out the opportunities in this country, our guest, Wafula Buke, has been in politics for a bit.
Yes.
He mentioned here, and people hated that. People hated those comments. But I understood where he's coming from. But people are so emotional about this. So he said that in this country, that if you find someone with 50 million shillings and they are aged 30 years, between 30, it's most likely not clean money. They are most likely have stolen because the structures in this country do not support business.
Sure.
And the process you have to go through to access that kind of money will take time.
Sure.
Then another guest said comments on this show, and people are very emotional about this. Also, that in this country, there is no business that you will do by the book that will have you invest 2 million and give you a guaranteed return of 50,000 shillings every month.
Sure.
What do you think of those two statements?
Unless it is in the creative industry, okay, where talent counts, I totally agree. You cannot invest 2 million shillings and make 50,000 in this country. Okay?
By the book, you can't.
By the book, you can't. And it is a very unfair way. I mean, we shouldn't be there. You realize that because of what business people go through, if you look at the last elections, 80% were business people. They are trying to run away from that forest of business, because it seems the only way to make this money, to make money in this country, it is the political class. Okay, because why? Because they have access to deals. It's basically corruption. Okay, and you'll realize a guy gets into politics. For example, one of my classmates is a politician, and all of a sudden, he wants to advise me on business, and he's never created anything just because he can afford what I cannot afford.
Yeah.
You get that point. So we have killed the entrepreneurship spirit because of the things we see. At one time, I've got so many guys in the industry I'm in right now that are running for this thing. I just want to get into politics. And that means they're not getting into politics to improve the lives of Kenyans. No. They're getting into politics to maintain their lifestyle in a lesser stressful industry. It seems so. Okay? And look at it. Countries and societies that do not exalt politics flourish. Okay?
Countries where a president or a prime minister can ride a bicycle.
Exactly. They flourish. Why? Because you enhance creativity. I mean, look at the Keroche story. It's such a sad story. Yeah? That one person employing so many people is at risk of policy, okay? Either policy or politics, and nobody cares. Okay, nobody cares how many jobs were lost. Nobody cares that this was a homegrown solution for so many Kenyans, because that homegrown solution was sorting the issue of illicit brews. But I don't want to talk about that. So that is it. So entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey. Very lonely journey. Yeah.
So
I'm not trying to say that now leaving the bank, I'm happier and better. No. It's a different hard. But the satisfaction in this is that you are energized every day. You know, you are in control. You are... a new day can come up with new blessings. Yeah.
Okay. Our friend
Because business is a game of hope.
Okay. Business game of hope.
Business is a game of hope, yeah.
Our friend Bira
And no wonder.
Yes.
No wonder communities that flourish in business somehow are very religious communities. Yeah.
That can be debated by saying that the religious Africans who leave to go to first world countries all of a sudden stop going to church because the systems answers their prayers.
No, you have twisted my word. Communities, because waking up and opening your shop and hoping that someone will come by, it's a game of faith. Business and faith are Siamese twins. That's why the Jews are successful. That's why Somalis do well in business. That's why an Indian will open his shop and the first thing they want to pray. Now, rarely will you make in business without faith. It is a game of faith.
Interesting that you say that.
Yes.
Interesting that you say that. Is it faith or spirituality? Because there are people who pray and they still get nothing. And then again, another guest, Apostle Ndura Warwingi, came akasema, people make sacrifices for the businesses to thrive. The Indians have a way of worshiping, sacrifices they make, people who slaughter goats. Prayer and sacrifices, please create a distinction for us. The owners of business, the owners of capital, must have
a direct connection with their God. Okay? And I think that is where I'm not equipped, I'm not qualified to talk about faith and spirituality, but I just wanted to be very basic, that there's an element of hope in business. There's an element of, I'm starting this thing, it will work out. And many entrepreneurs will tell you, at the end of the day, there's somewhere they go, kneel and call for some powers in whatever you believe in. Okay? Me included. The first thing we do in the office is pray. Okay? Now, without that, you'll become what? You'll become a criminal, because you'll push everything with thorax and corruption and all that. I don't know if I'm making sense.
I understand you.
Yes.
I understand you. So now, I wanted to quote our friend Mbira Remy, who is a friend of the show, actually. He mentioned something that people sometimes have very funny reactions to some of the things that people say. You said you got married at by 25.
By the time I was turning 25, yes.
By the time you're turning 25. Mbira Remy was on the show and
I
said
love it.
You need to be married by 24, actually.
Oh, yes. I support Mbira Remy.
Then our
because if I weren't, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be as grounded as I feel I am, because I compare with the late boomers. In fact, the earlier you do it, the better. That I am a proponent of that. Yeah.
And there are people who say marriage is the place where you go to suffer. So why is your experience different?
Marriage is a place you go to suffer.
Yes.
You see, that is a Gen Z conclusion.
In fact, you can break it down for us. There's this question people are asking. In fact, there's a series that has come from, has been released by Netflix, that has had people saying the marriage doesn't work, don't even try it, you understand? And then the question people ask is, what's in marriage for men?
You would like us to talk about marriage or marriage and business?
It's related.
Okay.
Let
me tell you why marriage doesn't work in Kenya. One, according to me, because I am a supporter of marriage. 90% of successful businesses in the world are family businesses. I don't know if you know that.
100%.
Colgate is a family business.
Yes.
NCBA is a family business. So there has to be an aspect of both energies, the male and the female. But why marriages are not doing very well in the country? There was a deliberate, and this is Kenya and the sub-Saharan area, there was a deliberate effort to disempower the boy child. So we have got 90% of ladies matching with the 10% of men. Okay? In terms of ratio, male to female, we are the same.
Yes.
By the way, we are 50-50.
Yes.
But the boy is so disempowered. So the lady who's empowered doesn't have someone to marry. So what do? They go to the married guy because he seems polished. And that distorts the whole society. And this was deliberate, for your information. This was deliberate. Okay?
I'm following.
To curtail our reproduction as Africans. Why does it work in Somalia? Why is marriage so beautiful in Europe? Why? Because a girl in Europe grows knowing he has a matchup that will marry them. And even if it doesn't work, they'll divorce and marry someone else. Look at Elon Musk. He's been married 7 times, 5 times. Okay? Now, it is when we became independent, there was a deliberate effort to make sure, like President Moi changed almost every school to be a girls' school. So my peers, the girls, are so above in comparison to the guy. So who will marry them? They're up there. Yeah.
Should they be low for them to be married, or the empowerment should match? That's what you're saying.
This scenario was first introduced in South Korea. Okay?
Yes.
And if you study the story of South Korea, they say that country can perish in the next 100 years.
Even Japan.
Even Japan, okay?
Yes,
Let me talk about South Korea. And it is happening in Kenya. And actually, you see the trouble that is happening in South Africa? It is that the girls are so empowered, but there are no men for them. So they can only marry the migrants who look a little bit more polished. And then, exactly. So the boy in South Africa is cornered. And that's why he's reacting. And let me tell you something. There's nobody as dangerous as an insecure boy. Oh yeah. When the boy is an insecure, nobody is secure. Because now they use their thorax. They use their stamina. It is the weak man that kills.
Hey, that's
It's the weak
powerful,
man that
man.
trips, yeah. So that is what has messed marriage. Nevertheless, look at the millennials. Most guys are flourishing because of their wives. Because what does a wife bring to you?
Good question.
They bring you something called female energy. Female energy is I'm outside there chasing. In business, it's a big forest. There is a predator after me in so many facets, from regulators to carry and so many things. I need to come home to this soft person, okay, and pour myself to them, okay? When you lack that, when you lack female energy in your life, you look for it. That's why someone will tell you, Mimi, when I'm stressed, I go to this club and I just sit with Sinatabu and I want to listen to this maid, this lady, this bartender talking to me. Or someone will get it in their girls, with their daughters. Just some female energy. I know someone whose marriage didn't work, but they get anchored by their daughter. Some are anchored by their mother. So that is the essence of marriage. It is supposed to neutralize the male dominance, and you mellow when you're home. And that's why they say when people marry, they live longer, they live healthier, when marriage works.
That has been confirmed by Dr. Bundi Karau, who's a neurologist on the show.
Otherwise, there is a deliberate effort to destroy marriage in Kenya. That's one. Number two, we are at a crisis because we are sandwiched between... and remember, I'm a businessman. I'm not a marriage activist. We are sandwiched. So what is marriage? Really? Marriage is a creation of men. Marriage didn't come from God. Marriage is a result of... That's why there's something called the Marriage Act. So it is people who sat in parliament to dictate. So, but love is from God. I don't want to talk about that. Marriages are a tool to control societies. Okay? That's why if you live somewhere in Iraq, they would say you marrying 4 is okay because we want the people, we want the numbers. Okay? Now, we are in a place where our grandfathers were practicing polygamy. Mzungu came, told us 1 for 1. And we don't know how to do it. Okay, so there's hidden polygamy in Kenya. I mean, it's open. That is the truth. But may I keep in business? I don't want to get emotional about it.
No, we are in business. Okay. You know why I brought it up?
Yeah.
Because somehow I feel like your business success is tied to the grounding in you having a family at a young age.
Oh yes.
That's why I brought it up.
Always.
That's why I brought it up. So in fact, you've given us some golden nuggets and things to actually go back on. And as a lover of cause and effect, correlation and ideas, my mind is blown. Okay. So when I asked what's in it for marriage, I know it speaks to a generation. I know how much the family unit, how much value the family unit plays in the stability of a society. And now, and I know as in, I believe for you to say that you are married by 25, it has been said by 2 different guests on the show, and I've seen the reaction, and I know where I can tie this idea of it's a deliberate effort. I'm actually like, by the way, in fact, Mbira Remi said, he told us, he has written about it actually in his book, New Confident Africa, that even architecture was used to break family.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Wangari Maathai writes, unaona this thing you say that your family moved to Eldama Ravine to work for Team Sales.
Yes.
If you read your grandfather, if you dig deep into your grandfather's story, you find that when you go back to Central in Murang'a, ilikuwa inaitwa Fort Halls. What happened is when they came and they wanted to enforce tax, they say they did not have a problem with paying tax. Yes. They brought goats, which is what they have. Muzungu refused, and they had to pay in money. So where do you get money from? You have to work for them.
Yes.
For you to get the money, you to pay tax.
To pay them, yeah.
And this movement, lucky your grandfather moved with his family, this movement can be tied to single family homes in Central Kenya.
A lot.
This is what introduced venereal diseases in some parts of Central Kenya.
Spot on, yes.
You understand? So
yes.
I'm a big fan of these ideas, correlation. Where did this come from? So now when you come to marriage, when you mention that by 25, say you hear people talk of, don't get married before you're 35. Don't get married before you're 40. Or you can still have kids when you're 40. You understand?
You know one thing, I totally agree. I met a guy that my age mates, not married, and I cannot even sit to vibe with this guy. Yeah, I have so much capacity. He just wants us to talk about cheap things. He wants some 500 million bob. As in, there is a way. Yes, it couldn't work the way it used to work when we were in the bank. But that's one. Number 2, inherently, females, either in humans or in animals, females marry up. Females don't marry down.
That's natural.
That's natural.
Yes.
Okay? It's the biggest bull. Okay? It is the largest bull that gets to mate or mating rights. Now, in the human scenario, so a female will marry up. So what happens when the female is up? There's no up to go.
That's very well
exactly.
explained.
Now that kills the whole structure.
Yes.
Because let's say the up is number 5 here, and the boy, let's say the up is number 5, and then go to 4, and then go to 3, go to 1. Okay? And we use 3 things: education, money, and genes. Because that is what people marry for. Okay? Now, if there are so many girls at number 5, and there are very few guys at number 5, what will happen? Ladies won't go to the number 3. And number 3, a guy is okay to go to a number 2. And that's why marriages work in villages. Because it's a 2 and a 2. Or a 2 and a 1.
Very true.
And no wonder we see that so many successful ladies don't keep marriages. Because they don't have a number 6 to go to. That is by design.
I understand.
Yes.
And very well explained.
That is by design, yeah. So easy mita za wadosi. They are struggling. Who will marry my daughter? I have a daughter. My daughter is 16. And let me tell you one thing. We had to sit down with so many entrepreneurs, and we started a program called Inua Boy Child. Okay? Later, we called it Nephews. Dr. King, bring me your nephews. I bring you my nephews. Another CEO bring. And then we grow our boys. The little we can.
Mentorship.
Mentorship. We follow them in their careers. We make sure especially during initiation. Because the question is, who will marry my daughter?
Yeah.
Ataenda kusumbua boy mwingine ameoa nini?
Good question.
Yeah.
Good question.
So that has affected marriage, and I can assure you, when you affect marriage, you affect even the business unit. Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that.
Thank you so much.
So now one concept I'd like us to discuss before
Yes.
tufunge, because I believe I heard you say it and I knew it would also be very beneficial to our audience if they hear your thoughts on it. Social capital.
Yeah.
What is social capital and how much have you benefited from it?
Oh, if there's something I'm very careful is relationships. Okay, everything you need is a relationship away. Everything you need,
Everything.
Everything. I mean, you think you need a Lamborghini, it will be manufactured for you. No, there's someone driving it, or there's a manufacturer to do it for you, and you need a certain relationship to that manufacturer. Now, relationships are created in two ways. One, chase them. You can chase relationships by being in the right places. Okay, that's why people go to private clubs. I play golf, so when I'm golfing, I'm creating relationships with those guys. The second way is being so good at what you do that you attract. Okay, there's a very good, beautiful book called Power versus Force. Okay, power is attracting. So there are people you can't ignore. There are people who people look for.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you either attract or chase.
And the choice is yours.
The choice is yours.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
What you can't purchase, you chase. Ever heard of that? Yeah. So it's someone very good. We know in this country, and everyone wants to be related with them.
Yes.
Think about BN. Everyone will be proud. Hey, that's my guy. I mean, even you with what you're doing. But again, if you're not in that place, please chase, knock doors. And for your information, everyone knock doors.
How do you knock without being nagging?
There's a saying we have in my village. Hawezi kuwa bila pesa na ukuwe na kiburi. Kama huna dozo ya madharau. You need to, I mean, have you seen presidents going to the UK wanaekwa kwa basi? So I'm not talking about this in the context of that one Kenyan. It's a human nature.
If you enter a level
where you are like
you've
right
not
now,
adjusted
Dr.
to.
King, there are people who knock your doors. I get about 10 CVs every day. Okay? But do you know how many doors I knock? Do you know how many guys don't pick my calls? Because as you go up, you knock bigger doors. So we knock and knock and knock. And the right door opens at the right time.
The right door opens at the right time.
Yes.
Keep knocking.
Keep knocking. And then I like telling young guys, this country is richer than it was 2 years ago, 5 years ago. The country becomes richer and richer and richer. So you must attract wealth. Let me tell you how. This year, our budget is 4.8 trillion shillings. 4.8 trillion shillings will be raised from Kenyans. When Kibaki became president, the budget was 600 million. 600 billion and 4.8 trillion. We have grown by 7 folds.
So as people are crying,
today a 22 years old can afford a Prado. When I was growing up, it was one Suzuki owned by the veterinary in the whole constituency.
Yes.
By the vet rather.
Yes.
Yeah. So the country becomes wealthy. There's no room for feeling desperate.
But knock doors.
Knock doors. And number 2, I usually tell, I talk to a lot of young guys. I have a forum. Please close your ears from toxicities. I don't know kumeibiwa, kumefanyiwa nini. You'll go mad. Run your race. Smart people make money in chaos.
How do you choose the young people that you mentor?
How do I choose?
In your forum?
One, from church. I have a program in church, and I do it around churches. Number 2, the nephews beat. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. You don't have like an identification
we
formula.
have a structured program that we have started. We call it Dimba and Hyssop Foundation. For example, 26th of this month, July, we'll be having a huge tournament at Afraha Stadium.
26th of July.
26th of
We're in
June. We're talking about 2 weeks from
June.
today. Yeah. 26th of June, 2026. Chapa Dimba na Hyssop. So we just want to bring these guys together and get mentors to talk to them.
Yes.
So football is just an attractor.
Yes.
Okay, and
Yes.
we are using the Arsenal. Okay, we are just from the Premier League. Nini, there was that craze, and the World Cup. So that is the mood right now. So it is easier for people to relate with that mood.
Okay.
So we'll be having more than 3,000 guys in that field.
Okay.
Then we have arranged a whole array of speakers.
Yes.
And groups and so many things, and we have got partners, we have banks, we have circles, and luckily in such a scenario 70% will be boys. I am pro boys, my friend. So because we want to affect more, so after that we'll do it in Kisii.
Okay.
We're looking for a good partnership with some good company, some good football club. I won't talk about that. Bring them together, start mentorship. So yeah.
Okay. By the powers vested in me by Wadau, who are our viewers, I believe this is a first of many conversations. You're welcome kukuja tena na tena.
Asante.
And while preparing for this conversation, I can't let this go. While preparing for this conversation, I believe I've watched all your conversations. I've read everything there is to read about you. But in one particular interview you did with Abi Agina in his Level Up podcast,
Yes.
You mentioned something that speaks to understanding the market that you're going into. And this was in regards to apartments. And you said something I don't think I've seen.
Okay.
I've seen it from that perspective before. Your statement was apartments only work in Nairobi.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah.
Tuambie hiyo as we close.
I mean, money is in Nairobi. This county holds about 35% of our economy. Okay, so we are so many here, and why are we so many here? Because this is where government is, and government is the biggest spender, and you cannot make a return in apartments in any other county apart from Nairobi and Kiambu. Period. Try that in Nakuru, you're gone. Try that in Kisumu, you're gone, because the demand. You see, an apartment in Nairobi will be $1 million bob. Will be about 7 million shillings, okay? But how much is land in Nairobi? So if you want to sell to me the same apartment in Kisumu, where land is 1 million shillings, I'll go for the land. It's as simple as that way. Yeah. Currently, apartments. If you get, I did apartments and I almost burnt my fingers. In fact, I did. And that was on Kiambu Road. And after selling out, we realized this game, it's a whole different game. Okay, but apartments only work in Nairobi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very well explained. Very
Number
well
2.
explained. Yes.
70% of apartments in Nairobi are not meant for roof. They're meant for investments.
They're not meant for roof means you not buy them as your home.
The buyers are not buying to live. The buyers buy as an investment vehicle.
Yes.
Either for rentals or B&B or such.
Okay.
Only about 30% buy to move in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, but I think for the concepts that you understand, thank you for sharing knowledge in Assisi.
Asante.
Very, very, very powerful nuggets. Now, I've personally enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you so much.
And I know the feeling
opportunity.
of good vibes. Asante.
Thank you so much.
CEO and founder wa Hyssop Properties. Enjoy conversation. CEO and founder wa Hyssop Properties, Naftaly Mwangi. Tumeenjoy.
Thank you so much.
On behalf ya wadau, thank you for making time for us.
Thanks.